SBR Videos is sponsored by Sports Cash System. Click on the link below for more information. Hi, welcome to SBR Foreign Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. This is the NFL opening line show that we do every Monday afternoon with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. And Joe Duffy's having a great year at his website and in our videos in the NFL. You know, his record speaks for itself. 20-9 against the spread so far this year. Joe Duffy, thanks for being back with us.
Thank you, Peter.
All right, 20-9 against the spread. Speaks for itself. If anyone wants to learn more about you, tell us a little about OffshoreInsiders.com before we get into these opening lines.
OffshoreInsiders.com. I've been around as long as anybody in this industry, going back to the scorephone days of 1988. The NFL is as good in that sport as I am in any sport, although fantastic in all sports, if I may say so myself. Get my picks at OffshoreInsiders.com.
All right, and those claims backed up by phenomenal on-the-record picks with us this year. Just very impressive, Joe Duffy. All right. You know, the opening lines for this week, we're looking ahead to NFL Week 12. I guess the first thing I want to ask you about is, you know, one of the big plays, one of the big public plays week in and week out this year has been fading Jacksonville. The public loves to fade Jacksonville, and last week they even did it after Jacksonville got their outright win. And, you know, I was expecting to hear the opposite, that maybe the public had stopped fading Jacksonville, but I talked to Brent from BetDSI. No, the public was betting against them again, and they won. This week, though, look at this, man, a 2-8 team, a double-digit favorite. That's how little respect Jacksonville is getting on the lines. Do you think the public will bet Houston here?
Yeah, no, and obviously Brett, he has a much better idea where the public is actually betting, but I will say that my metrics that predict where the public will bet, this is another rare case. There's usually 2-3 games a week at the most that I will say that the public is likely to bet the underdog, and the metrics that I use does say that they are actually betting Jacksonville this week, or predicting that they will bet on Jacksonville this week. So I think this is a rare case. Plus, Houston, I think, is now going to be the team that the public most loves to bet against. They're just looking absolutely awful. So all of a sudden, who does the public hate the most? I would say the Houston Texans.
Right, and then another line that's pretty interesting in terms of which way the sharps and public will bet is Carolina-Miami, right? Right now, Carolina is 3.5 points favorite on the road. They have to play the Monday night game tonight, so that, you know, will probably change things at least a little bit. But, you know, assuming that there's nothing, you know, particularly, you know, shocking that happens in the game tonight, I have to assume that the public's going to bet Carolina at this line, right?
No, I agree with you, but what you said is so true, that the public, whatever they see tonight, as you said, we don't know the outcome of the Monday night game when they're doing this. The public loves betting what they see with their own two eyes. So no question about it, barring injuries, the performance of Carolina tonight will go a long way in determining whether to bet. But I think even if the Panthers lose a close game, they're more likely to still bet Carolina no matter what. And as we say every week, whenever in doubt, when you're going to guess where the public is going, road favorites, they definitely love to bet the road favorites.
Yeah, and does this look like a situation that might be a spot where we might see a sharp public split? You think the sharps might come in on kind of like the uglier home dog here, getting more than a field goal in Miami?
Well, one of those terms that I like to use, and I know a lot of sharps agree with it, is that predictably unpredictable. And Miami, as an underdog, they're dangerous. They're pretty good at being a high percentage play, getting points, and a big percentage play to go against when they're laying points. So I do think there's a definite possibility of some sharp money on Miami, especially when, regardless of what happens tonight, Carolina is going to be in a little bit of a letdown situation.
Right. All right, and then one line that I think might be a good candidate for biggest line move of the week is the Tennessee-Oakland line. I mean, right, Oakland's what I'm seeing, a 1-point home favorite, and I'm thinking that line, you know, closes a lot closer to 3, maybe even on 3, minus 120 or something.
Yeah, right now we don't even know who's going to be quarterback for Oakland, but Matt McGloin looked tremendous. The Penn State kid, he looked tremendous. You know, Terrell Pryor has seen his ups and downs. So which way the line's going to move is going to depend, first of all, on whether or not Oakland, who they announce is going to be their starting quarterback, and second of all, who the public wants to actually be the starting quarterback. But as good as McGloin looked, I do think if he is officially announced as the starting quarterback, the public is more likely to bet on Oakland if McGloin is definitively announced as the starting quarterback.
The sharps might take it too. I mean, Oakland has had a defense that has looked very good, you know, this year.
Yeah, no, and that is true. And you know from talking to me that one thing I like to do is when first-year quarterbacks, not always rookies, but first-year quarterbacks, when they get off to a hot start, they generally have the advantage because the defense, their opposing defense, doesn't have enough information on them. They don't really know what his weaknesses are yet, and is playing with utmost confidence. And if anything, most of the game tape is going to be on Pryor. So at least short term, if Oakland does go with McGloin, I think they do have the advantage, and I think the sharp money will be on Oakland.
All right, so if the sharp money and the public money comes in on Oakland, then that line will almost certainly move significantly upward. All right, and then, before we get into what lines have caught your eye, Denver at New England, that's going to be a very interesting betting situation. We don't know how the Monday night game will turn out for New England, but right now they're a 2.5-point home underdog against Denver, and I have to assume that as much of a public favorite as Brady and the Pats always are, that this will be a situation where the public's going to bet Denver at such a short line.
Yeah, maybe not.
Maybe not,
I
right.
still think at the end of the day, the public is going to see Tom Brady as a home dog, and you want to talk about the lack of respect type thing. Both teams will be in a little bit of letdown situation. Obviously, the Patriots off of a short week, but Denver, their biggest game of the year, plus they've got the rematch against Kansas City coming up. I don't think they're necessarily going to overlook. I don't think it's possible to overlook a game at New England. But no, I think if anything, the public sees Tom Brady as a home underdog, and they're going to be licking their chops. I probably don't think there's going to be strong public money either way.
All right, from the rest of the card, are there any lines that you think are noteworthy that might attract a certain kind of action or move significantly?
I think if there's going to be a sharp move, maybe a little bit on the Jets. The Jets have been the all-time poster child, going to use that term again, of being predictably unpredictable. They follow up a terrible effort with an excellent effort. Now, granted, where it's worked out, they played 2 straight road games this year. They played 2 straight home games. They don't always alternate home and road. They're generally better at home than they are on the road, but they followed up bad efforts with great efforts, and that means that the Jets are likely to come up with a good effort this week. So I think, if anything, maybe a little bit of sharp money on the Jets. And I think Kansas City under. The Chiefs have been struggling to score. We know they still have one of the best defenses in the NFL. They somewhat, it's not like Denver had their way last night. So their defense looked okay last night. I do think that the public for sure, and maybe the sharps, are going to bet Kansas City under because they have a tremendous defense. Their offense, so-so.
All right, thanks so much, as always, for these insights, Joe Duffy, and we'll talk to you again very soon.